Hey, good evening, everybody. I hope that you've had a great day so far. Hey, it is Tuesday, August 31st. September is right around the corner. What that means for the people that love fall and pumpkin spice everything is getting ready to be our time, y'all. So just hold on. Time to start putting up your summer decorations and taking out your fall stuff. I'm ready to see bales of hay and harvest stuff and pumpkins and mums. I'm ready to see all the beautiful colors of fall. Ready to see the leaves start changing on the trees, the temperature getting a little bit cooler. Ready for all of that stuff. More than anything, I am ready for my pumpkin spice. I am a fan of pumpkin spice, so just know for my other folks that are fans of pumpkin spice that fall starts on Wednesday, September 22nd. So go ahead and get stocked up and get ready so we can pumpkin spice this thing up. We have all the way to December 21st to celebrate fall and to have our pumpkin spice out. And see, as soon as we get finished with pumpkin spice, we can go straight into cranberry because it'll be Christmas time. So anyway, just hold on a couple of days longer, y'all. Don't put up any scarecrows and decorations just yet. It's almost our pumpkin spice time. Hey, welcome to the Ladies Lounge. I'm your host, Wanda Lowe. I'm the creator and founder of the Ladies Lounge. If this is your first time joining us tonight, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I so appreciate it. We try to come every week with a show that gets you empowered and encouraged and educated about something. All of this month, we've been talking about small business items and different tips and topics. So we're going to continue that tonight. But first, if this is your first time or if you're returning, if you would please go over to my Facebook page and like, share, and follow us to make sure that every week that you get the new shows that are coming up and that you can watch us. And then go back if you need to rewatch a video. There's plenty of them out there for you to watch and just pick up on some of the topics we talk about. Also, you can go and catch us on YouTube and make sure that you hit the subscribe button and that you also hit the little bell that gives you notifications for when new videos post up on that one also. So make sure this is not your last time coming. Make sure this is not your last time watching. Make sure that you come back every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. We have a new show each week. So let me go back to why I made my pumpkin spice opening in the beginning. Is I have a friend that's teasing me and a couple of other of us who are fall lovers who love the smell of pumpkin spice. I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it. So I'll be baking pumpkin, some of everything this year, just because I can and because I like it. So for you that do enjoy fall like I do, I know this is our time. And man, the weather's getting ready to change. It's getting ready to get a little bit cooler. So you can start bringing out all your pretty sweaters and all your jackets and all your long stuff and put up all the summer stuff. But it is just a beautiful, beautiful time of the year for me. And I can breathe better in the fall. So I'm looking forward to that. Just a little bit of news, what's going on around the world. Um, we all know about Hurricane Ida hitting Louisiana and Mississippi. So please, people, keep those folks in mind. I think it's over 1 million people that are out of power and they've had some deaths also. So let's please make sure that we keep those folks on our mind and keep in our prayers that things get better and get worked out. You know, it's going to take some time for them to restore energy for that many people, and it's going to take some time to rebuild. You know, when I heard about the hurricane that hit this time, the first thing that went back to mind, of course, was I thought about when Katrina hit and how many people, you know, lost their lives and lost their properties and lost their homes and were displaced. And I think we sort of in that situation again this time. So make sure that we continue to pray for those folks and to keep them lifted up because this is going to be a really hard time for them. It's going to be a hard time for even surrounding areas because when things like that happen, you cannot stay in the area. So that means that they've had to disperse again and move out and go to different places to be safe because of the flooding and because of the damage that's been done. So again, just keep those folks in your prayers. Also keep in our prayers the folks that got evacuated from Afghanistan, but you all know there are still allies there and there's still a couple, I think it said less than 100 Americans still in Afghanistan. So again, keep those folks in your prayers also, because you know a lot of them came out, and I think the deadline to get out was yesterday. Or no, the deadline to get out was it August 30th, 31st? I can't remember now. But either way, there are still some Americans in Afghanistan. There are still some allies that are there. So just pray for their safety and pray that those folks are able to return home also. Um, Funny news. I don't know if it's funny, ha ha, or just funny. But I don't know if you all saw the post about the guy, was the groom actually. They had a destination wedding. Let me bring my guest in real quick. And since he's not really a guest, we're just going to go ahead and add him in. Hey, Pastor.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. All right. I just added you in. I'm still talking about the news right now, but we're going to get to it in just a second. So,
Okay.
anyway, this bride and groom had a destination wedding, and they had to prepay for it because of wherever they were. I don't remember if it was Bermuda or wherever it was, but they had to prepay for everything. So apparently, it worked out to be about $240 per person. And they had several people who, over the last course of a couple of months, agreed to come. And they were asked like four times, and they said, yes, 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 we're coming all four times. But then when it happened, they didn't show up. So, in kind of a bold move, the groom posted an invoice for $240 on his social media page. Well, people went crazy, of course. It went viral. And folks was like, well, I read some of the comments. So you had everything from I don't blame him to all the way to, oh, somebody said it was ratchet and ghetto and all this other stuff because he was asking them to, you know what, actually, he didn't ask them. That he posted that was $240 a person and that he thought they should be responsible for it. Now, be clear, the man did not send the folks the actual invoice. He only posted the invoice and talked about it, and he even made a comment saying that he was being petty. So it was just fun just to read some of the comments and how deep people thought about it and how much they got in their feelings about it. And I just couldn't do anything but laugh because my thought is like this: if you cannot afford it, don't do it. So if it was going to cost you that much in order for you to invite people and there was that much per head, I just would have put down who I knew was coming and that was it. The rest of y'all, if you get there, you get there. If you don't, you don't. Sometimes you have to just say, hey, everybody ain't coming to my big event and go on about your business. But I just thought it was funny that he put it out there like that. But anyway, if y'all get a chance to, just go and check it out. If you just Google the $240 invoice, I'm pretty sure it'll pop up. Okay. So in the past couple of weeks for August, we have been talking about small business things. We've talked about everything from self-evaluation, thinking about what you have or what skills you possess. Do you have the capacity to start a business? We've talked about all of that, all the way to how to do your business plan, and how your business plan should be an active, living document that you actually write and check and know, operate from. We talked about, excuse me, we talked about funding your small business, all the different ways that you can get funded. And I think Anthony concentrated a lot on with how. Then we talked about having the right people on your team. That even though it's your business, it's your baby, you cannot do it all by yourself. You do have to have a good team around you of people that can help you through some of the hurdles and kind of take some of the load off of you. There are things that you're going to be really good at, and then there are things that you might need to let somebody else do. So we talked about that. And then tonight, we're going to talk about succession planning. And the reason I wanted to talk about that one is too many times you have people that start these wonderful businesses and they do a really good job of delivering products and services or whatever it is that they do. And then once they want to retire, it's just gone. I mean, that service or that product is now just missing from the market. They hadn't had a plan on how to either pass that on or how to continue the business, or do they want to leave it to somebody? They haven't groomed anybody in that place. So tonight I want to kind of focus on, how do you, and it sounds funny, but it's almost like we're going to talk about how you quit your job. Although you're not necessarily quitting your job, you're either going to end your business if you want to, or you're going to pass the business on, or you're going to operate maybe not so much in the day-to-day operations of it. You maybe you step to the back and let somebody else be in the forefront of it. But we're just going to talk about that tonight. And let me introduce my guest real quick. And he is really talking on mute. But I have Anthony Armstrong with me again tonight. Anthony is the CEO for Nice's Group Consulting. He has been a business consultant for umpteen million years. He's been in business for that long. He has several businesses that he started. He calls me a serial entrepreneur. He is also. His wife is an entrepreneur. The family, it's a family of entrepreneurs. So he has a huge background in banking and in lending and in helping small business owners in the state of Arkansas kind of get on their feet and kind of learn the ropes of how to be a business owner. So thank you so much again for joining me. Now you just smile. What you doing?
Well, I
Yeah.
have to smile, Wanda. When you have wonderful people like you around, you have to smile.
All right. Well, I'm gonna turn it over to you as usual. I'm gonna talk a little more tonight, but I'm gonna let you take it away. But we're talking about
You go,
succession planning and why it's important for you to work that into your business plan on the front side.
well, a lot of business owners don't realize that one day it's got to come to an end, right? I mean, no matter how much we love it, no matter how much we think it'll never come to an end, we have to start with the end in mind. So, with that being said, how do you ensure retirement as a business owner? At the end of the day, that's what we're working for, is that we don't have to work hard our whole entire life, that we get to enjoy some of those golden years, so to say,
Mhm.
right? Well, here's the statistics says this. The statistics says that businesses typically die after the second or third generation.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, your kids and your grandkids don't want your business. And for a lot of people, that's very heartfelt, because they're in the position and in the place in their lives to where they're doing it for legacy purposes. They're trying to establish some form of generational wealth to
Mhm.
pass something along the way. So, with that being said, they really would like to pass it on to a kid and or a grandkid or some relative, to carry on the business after they go on. If that's your plan, if legacy planning, which was one of the first things we'll start out talking about, if
Mhm.
legacy planning is your idea for retirement, then I would strongly recommend grooming and developing success.
Yep.
You need to pick more than you need to have a plan B, plan C, and an alternate when you start trying to leave something to family. Life across the board, and say there die, people move, people's situations change, and as a result of that, we really find ourselves without a successor, without someone that really want to take on the business. They need to be very familiar and knowledgeable and understand the business practices, and that can be done through um, hands-on, but as well as some form of training too. It's great to be able to send that child or grandchild off to receive a formal education in business or whatever the specialized trade is, and they can come back with a new perspective, new ideals to help the business move on to future generations. Oftentimes, we're in our businesses and we get so rigid and tunnel vision that we can't see anything else past what we already been doing
Mhm.
for the longest. So, you know, there are some companies that have weathered that and that have been around 100 plus years and more and longer, family owned, family operated businesses. But it's very important to groom successors in your place when it comes down to that. From a legal standpoint, ensuring that they are able legally to
Mhm.
carry on the business in your absence. This is when we go back and we visit organization structures. And as we revisit the organization structures of these various different businesses, we start to, if you're a corporation, you start to add them as a shareholder of the corporation. If you making sure that they're on all the applicable authorizations and documents so that they can run and operate the business. If you are a LLC, you add them as a member of the LLC so that they can do everything that they need to do LLC wise. And so those are some of the things that you do when you start to think about the business in its entirety.
The
So,
co-stars
uh,
want to talk some.
So what else?
Co-stars wanting to talk. Your
Oh
baby.
yeah, the baby is real. That is Anna Grace, and she runs the show.
Uh-huh.
She's the, she's the only girl, four older brothers.
Yep.
So enough said. You
Mm-hmm.
see who she's with, so she's a daddy's girl on top of all of that.
Yep.
Yeah, she's something that she's real. So when you start to think about succession planning for your business, you really want to think about the next generation and how they can line out, making sure legally that they can do it, making sure knowledge based that they can do it, that they can operate the business as they need to. Um, from a standpoint of key employees, it's the right thing to do. If there's not a family member that wants to step up and have the business, you may have a long-term employee
Mm-hmm.
that wants to carry on the business. And again, that's another valuable option. Whether you're talking about the family or the long-term employee that's been with you for the longest, right?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes we want to continue our lifestyle into retirement. I've heard it said throughout my life, Social Security just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm not Social Security age, thank God, but I hope to be one day. Social Security don't get it. So if Social Security don't get it, a lot of business owners have become accustomed to a certain lifestyle, being able to move around and about as they so desire to. This is part of your succession planning, especially from a family member standpoint, especially from a key employee, long-term employee standpoint. You can work out some form of retirement compensation plan where the business will continue to pay you a percentage into your golden years. And I think that's more than fair a lot of times. Small business owners, for the most part, do a terrible job saving for retirement. There's some self-directed retirement plans out there and investments that you can get off into as a business owner, but so often that's not the case. So because that's not the case,
Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees
I
and
can hear the
toes.
baby's music, but I can't hear you.
there's no rough RAs in there. There's no rough RAs in there at all. None. So
I like
so
how
we
you just
have
quit
it.
talking like that. What happened?
Yeah. There's none. eh, There's no rough RAs. So a small business owner have to content with that.
Yep.
Um SBA has a great program out there, and it's called 7A.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 7A program has an employee purchase option as part of one of the spin-offs of one of the alternative programs as it relates to SBA 7A. And the SBA 7A program allows an employee to come in and purchase the building, to purchase the facility, to purchase the business from existing ownership. So that's something to take a look at and consider too. If you are a business owner and you're tired of it, you're sick of it, and you want to sell out, and your employees may not have the financial wherewithal to purchase the building or to purchase the business, then obviously you can go with that particular SBA program. I would strongly consider SBA preferred lenders as an option when it comes down to that program. So that you can take advantage of that SBA 7A program, employee purchase program. So that's another way you can plan for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if I think financial planning, financial management, uh, overall, there's some fundamental principles that's true no matter what. Um, and I absolutely believe in them as a financial advisor. Debt elimination, if you're going into retirement thinking about succession planning, you want to go ahead on and eliminate your debt.
Mhm.
You don't want to go into retirement with a lot of overhead, with a lot of debt out there. That's just not something that you want to do.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, assets accumulations. You want to accumulate assets over the span of your life, and unfortunately, the sad truth is a lot of business owners and a lot of individuals, when we talk about businesses, when they start talking about succession planning and retirement, there's never been any tangible assets that's been accumulated over a period of time. And because of that, there's nothing there for the business owner to leverage
Mhm.
for retirement or succession. You have to think of it like this, and then third, cash flow, right? You have to create cash flow. Now, you, your host tonight is a financial genius when it comes to that, and I'm not talking about myself. I'm not Wanda. That's her thing. Multiple businesses, multiple streams of income. It's it's a reality. You got to do that. You should do that if you're thinking about retiring and succession planning. How can you continue your style of life, your standard of living? How can you continue to survive? And that's creating those multiple streams
Mhm.
of to come in. But one thing about succession planning is this: you need an ideal of how much is your business worth. How much is your business worth? Oftentimes, as business owners, we may or may not have a general ideal of what the business is really worth.
Mhm.
Uh, Sometimes we have some pie in the sky dreams, right? That we think is worth way more than it is. And sometimes we're undervalued in our business, and our business is worth way more than what we think.
Mhm.
I want you to think about it like this: your best practices, the concepts that you build your business on, the concepts that you have role modeled, those things right there in itself have some form of value to them. And so when you start to really think about your business at the end of the day, what is it worth to you? Um, what is it actually worth, from your accounts to your accounts receivable to your patents to your trademarks to your business name? What is your business really worth? Your The networking connections that you have come in contact with, the relationships that you have built with vendors and suppliers. What is your business really worth? And I challenge you, and no matter what state of business that you may be in, is to really understand what your business is worth. Doing a business validation report, from a financial standpoint, accountants can play a part into this. A financial advisor can play a part. You really need to know how much is worth at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So knowing how much the business is worth goes a long way, a very, very long way,
Uh-oh.
very long way. So there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
So that's important, knowing how much the business is worth. Um, Succession planning for your business. At what age would you like to retire? How long would you like to live off those proceeds, or as they would say, life expectancy, um, after you retire? I know plenty of business owners that never stop. They never stop. They may slow down. They may hire key people, but they retain ownership. And there's some pros and cons to that. Ultimately, it becomes a way of life. And if they stop, a lot of them are afraid to stop because they're afraid if they stop their businesses, they're going to die. It's kind of like the employee, the baby boomers that never will go home. Ouch, and come on. They just can't stop working, right? Because they feel like there's nothing else left for them in the golden years if they do. That's what's keeping them going. So for a lot of people, their businesses are keeping them going as well. So that's part of it.
Yep.
So we have to consider that, as far as what do we do when we need to think about the succession planning for your business, retirement, key employees, what funding programs are out there that's available for you to take advantage of.
Mhm. Now, going back to something you just said about a lot of people not stopping work because they're afraid they're going to die. A lot of people have built their businesses in such a way that if they're not there, it doesn't work. So a lot of that means that you need to be training people along the way to come in and start working on some of those things so that as you gradually move out of the day-to-day role, then you have somebody that's capable and that knows the business well, they can step in and take over those things. I don't know anybody, and some people do. You know, you've seen business owners work until their very last day, and they could be well into their 70s or 80s, and they're still working because that's been their thing. But a lot of people, I would say in our generation going forward, that's not how we want to operate. I don't want to have to be at work or at the business or doing whatever until I'm 80 years old. I want to go fishing. I want to enjoy myself. I want to be able to move around, visit kids, visit grandkids, and do some other things rather than be worried about the day-to-day operations of a business. So, I guess, well, technically, I guess you covered all of it. I was going to say, well, what are some of the tips for maybe, we talk a little bit more about the retirement side of it. What are some of the tips that you can go into as far as financial planning that would be good for people to start looking at, even when you're still in the business planning stage? What are some of the things that you would kind of tell a person to say, start looking at these things early on?
Well, I mean, I, you got to determine what investments are really safe and right for you. That's um that's important in itself. I mean, if you start to think about retirement planning, it's a lot of stuff that's out there. One thing is business to business investments. Maybe you're one that you have invested into other small businesses. And if you have invested into other small businesses, now
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at, okay, I am part owner of 10, 15, 20 businesses at this point, 5 businesses at this point. That's my retirement strategy, was just that. And because I am part owner, I mean, I have something coming in. As long as these businesses are vibrant and they exist, I have something coming in on a monthly or quarterly basis from these other businesses. I think we sleep on that a lot of times, that I believe small businesses really need to go back and look at other small businesses that's vibrant and that's profitable and begin to invest in those small businesses, especially at critical times, attaining some form of ownership percentages of those businesses that can go on and create for them a nice next egg. Because all companies are not going to be publicly traded companies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality of it. Everybody's not going to be listed on the Downs or the stock exchange or S&P 500 or any of that. They're not going to never issue an IPO, initial public offering. And because of that, you know, we tend to sleep on companies that are valuable out there that could pay, for a better choice of words, some form of dividends to you in the retirement age. That's very important. My joke about insurance is that anytime you have to use insurance, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's never, you got to die to get the death benefit. You got to get in a car accident to use your auto insurance. When it come down to medical, you in the hospital, man. I mean, that's my thing about insurance. I'm not knocking insurance. I think insurance most definitely have its flag. One, I know you're a licensed insurance agent across the board with everything. So look out. I'm sorry. But when you start to think about insurance, honestly, a tragedy have to happen
Yeah.
for you to really take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And great is a great way to pass something along. It's a great way to lower risk, but you're not gonna get to really enjoy it
Nope.
yourselves. And I understand there's some cash value policies and ready to my whole life and all that fun stuff. We're not gonna get into that tonight. That's Wonder's world. Let's
Mm-hmm.
contact her. She still can go, y'all.
Yep.
That's great, but I just don't think that that's the only vehicle that you should really look at. Yes, it's great to have those policies in place. They can go on to whoever they need to go on for the continuation thereof. there is even a such thing called key person insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and the key person insurance is vital. A lot of times, in the lending world, some lenders may require a key person insurance policy on those that are running the business and really doing the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to take a look at also. So there's a few things that I know that exist that's out there. If you do play the market, years ago we used to call them stockbrokers, right? And stocks is not the only security out there. But times has changed with the advent of e-commerce platforms and those financial platforms that exist out there that allow you to do some self-directed investment for yourself. And we have the web in our hands now, with a wealth of knowledge that we can study various different companies if you have the time to do it, um, and the knowledge to do it. If not, I would say, getting an investment advisor would be good. Depending upon, again, your risk tolerance level. If you're a conservative investor, obviously you're going to make conservative investments. If you're more on the aggressive side and you're willing to take a little bit more risk, and then you got modern and low to modern, right? So you have all of that that's out there, depending upon how fast you're trying to grow your money or keep your money or lose your money. That's a part of it. I think that those investments would be something to take a look at. Um, y- Again, how much are you really getting to save? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're in business, and your revenues are your revenues, and your bottom line is your bottom line. How much of your bottom line are you really getting to keep for yourself to put back for retirement? Becomes something that you start to ask yourself. Um, any of us that ever lived know that money can spend,
Yeah.
and money can spend real fast. There's peaks and there's valleys, there's lows, and all of that, um, in business. And I guess, the thing is, when things are really good, when you are peaking and you have peaked for a while, you have plateaued out, and you're making what is still good, considerably good money. What are you doing with those funds when you're peaking? What
Mm-hmm.
are you doing with those funds when you have plateaued and you have stayed at that level for a while? um how much of that money are you really keeping? Again, it kind of goes back to me, the fundamentals of financial planning is that, as your debt increase, that's more money that you can save and more money you can keep in your pocket. As your assets increase, that's less things that you have to buy because you already have it. And so that's what I'm really talking about, is having those things in place, um as you start to prepare for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have to switch what we call our core product, right?
Yeah.
And let me just hammer on that just for a second. It may be time to upgrade your core. It may be time to spin something off that and create something new. One thing I do advise a lot of clients to do is, you can sell your business, work out a great contracted legal agreement that you stay on for a period of time as a consultant or even a key employee of the business for a while. You know the business, you have the relationships, and as you're passing that torch on to the next person or to the next generation, you're still being compensated, but you just less involved. I think that's a great way to go off in business.
Mm-hmm.
Hey boy, hey girl, let me show you the ropes before I get on up out of here. And these are the contacts, and these are the pitfalls and hurdles, and you go on out. We hear a lot, and I always say this, I'll stick to this: personal drive business. At the end of the day, yes, we may be doing businesses for a greater good. We may be doing businesses for the make of money to be able to employ others, our
Mm-hmm.
efforts in the community. But at the end of the day, you still have to take care of your personal.
Yeah.
And if you have made some really good personal investments over a period of time, then those personal investments should start to pay off for you too. You
Mhm.
know, you shouldn't necessarily have to go into retirement with a mortgage payment. I think that's scary. I think that's scary on your personal side and it's scary on your business side. Sometimes our
Mhm.
personal assets, unfortunately, are tied up in business loans where they have come in and you have collateralized your personal assets. You have tapped your 401k and other retirement funds on your personal side to keep your business going. Look, I get it. But there need to be a replenishing of that. There need to be a time frame. There need to really be some well thought out financial planning. Need to consider the taxation piece. Um, Need to consider the taxation piece. If you are going to take a large contributions from your business as you exit out, what's the tax ramifications of that? How do that need to really look? If Social Security is around, and I laugh, right? That's scary.
Uh-huh.
That's scary. I think for millennials, for Generation Z, that in Alpha generation, I laugh at Alpha generation. No, it's not say Alpha generation. I'm talking about people that's under the age of 7 years old right now,
Mhm.
like my baby Anna Grace. Um, Social Security being around is a frightening thing. It's less people paying in, there's more people drawing out, and that's the reality, people.
Yep.
I know we have prayed for 62, and we have prayed for 67 to get full benefits, but the reality thing is, if you are a millennial and you are Generation Z, let me explain who Generation Z is real quick. Generation Z, you probably somewhere between the ages of 24 and 13. You probably won't have Social Security. And we live in the reality and day and time. I know Pawpaw M and Great Pawpaw M and Momo M and all them folks got it, but that may not be your reality, or it may look totally different than what it looks nowadays. So, you know, it's less government dependency upon your retirement. And so if you banking on that and you are a millennial, and you are millennial mean 25 to 40, and you are generation Z, and you are the Alpha generation. I'm talking to the you small entrepreneurs in the future. Uh, no, Doc, it may not be there. Now, for those that are over 40, you got a chance of getting it. You know, you can go out there to the Social Security Administration and it will show you roughly what your Social Security check would be
Mhm.
at various different ages based on what you have already paid in into the system. And so people like me been paying in since I was 16, and next month is my birthday.
Mhm.
But still, I mean, the number of years, the more obviously, the more you pay in, the fed your Social Security check is. How you contribute as a business owner is that you still pay Social Security tax in, but it's based on how much money you tell people that you make, and you pay taxes on that money. Uh-oh. So showing a loss every year in your business and showing that your business made a loss year after year after year after year, you're not really making your Social Security check fat. Let me just come on with it real fast.
Go
You're
ahead.
not making your Social Security check fat. So you're getting a 1,300, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. Some people gonna get $5,000, $6,000 Social Security checks, right? It's out there because of what you paid in the system. But if you haven't paid a whole lot in the system, you cannot expect a lot at all.
Mhm.
You cannot.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of surprised people when this is all said and done. Then, if that's the case,
You said what now?
I think it's going to be a lot of surprised people when it's all said and done. If that's the case.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of surprises because people haven't. You can't depend upon Social Security. We all heard that a little bit too many times.
Mhm.
You can't do it.
Now, that's one of the reasons why some years ago I started trying to create more
You can't do it.
lines of income, because even at my age, and I ain't telling you how old I am, but I'm 53. Even at my age, I still don't think that by the time I get old enough to draw Social Security, I really just don't believe it'll be there. And if it is there, is it going to be enough for me to live the way I want to live? No. So in the meantime, my thing between here and there is, yeah, I'm going to pay in what I'm supposed to pay in, but I'm also going to create me some other lines of income so that I know for a fact that I have more money coming in and what that's going to be, because it's not going to be what I think it's going to be. It's not going to be really enough to live the way I want to live. So, um, oh my God, talking about the just a little bit on insurance, and we were talking about key-man insurance and different things like that. That gets it also into your business continuation part too, because a lot of people, if something, well, okay, we can use right now what's happening in New Orleans and Mississippi with the hurricane. When things like that happen, whether it's a natural disaster or the person gets injured or they get sick and the business maybe has to shut down. Think about COVID hit and maybe your business had to shut down. A lot of people couldn't survive that because of those things you just named, as far as whether or not they'd invested well, when there was a peak and when they were at the highest point, whether or not they had a business that could continue through the beginning of the pandemic or through a natural disaster. And then did they still have employees there to work? Were there people available to even run the business? Now, some of that can be mitigated with having different kinds of insurance in place. So if you're looking at having business continuation and maybe somebody passes away and maybe that was a key person, then you can have insurance in place that takes care of that cost for you. So you can still make your payroll, you can still buy your inventory, you can still pay your vendors, and you can continue on with your business. Now that's a whole nother show, but I just thought about that when you were talking about the key man part and then what's going on right now. Because we're in the midst of a pandemic and businesses are closing. And then we have hurricanes, you have storms, you have all these other things going on. So you have to have some things in place. And this goes back to pretty much back to the business planning part. We were talking about that. I think sometimes that we get in our heads about how much fun it'll be to be in business and, oh, I'm going to be my own boss, but we don't think about all of the things that can happen. We're on the high part of it because we're dreaming about how good it's going to be and how much money we're going to make. And we're not thinking about there are going to be some down times. There are going to be some lean times when maybe the money is not coming in like it should, or it's not coming in as fast as it used to. And we're going to need some things in place to make sure that we can continue on. So talking to your agent about the key man insurance, talking to them about business continuation insurance, all those things you need to do. Now, if you want to talk about life insurance, you can call me. I can help you with that part. But the key man and basically a life insurance policy is a key man policy too. But talking to you about the business continuation, so that if there's a disaster, there's a fire, there's something else that goes on, and you need to be able to make payroll, there's money there for you to be able to do that. So like I said, that fits all into the planning part of it. One of the reasons I want to do this is because I see a lot of people talking about starting businesses. I get a lot of calls from people needing help to get started and to just figure out the initial paperwork sometimes. And a lot of these things, when I'm talking to them, I know that they haven't considered any of this because they've fallen in love with the thought of being in business for themselves, being their own boss, setting their own hours and doing their own thing. Well, you have to know it's more to it than that, and you have to have some things behind you. And I'm not going to necessarily have a lot of people behind you, but you do have to have some skill sets, and you do have to sit down and honestly think through the process, because there's some pitfalls. There's some things that you're not going to get. I think we hit on mentorship just a little bit. If you know that there's a business that you want to go into, and wherever you are, whether it be locally or if it's somebody that you've seen online, because I have a person that I follow online on business, and oh my God, she blows my mind daily. And I watch the videos on those days when I'm feeling like I don't want to do this or I'm scared to do this, and I get motivation and I get clarity on some things. I do the same thing with Anthony. If I have questions about something in business that I don't understand, I know I can call him. And it's a couple of other ladies that I know that have been in business for years, that when I get into that little shady gray spot and I'm not really sure what to do, I can pick up a phone and call and say, hey, you've been in business for a long time. Tell me what you did when this situation arose. So having those people around you, going back to what we talked about the other week about the right people in the boat with you, having those people around you, that even when you get to the succession planning part, how did you retire? How did you go from being in business all these years to being able to retire comfortably and your business is still going, you still have income? I want to know how to do that for my business. So talking to people and asking questions and sitting down. I read something today that I thought was really interesting, and I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if it, I can now remember if it was an article or if it was something I saw on Facebook. But Emmett Smith calling Michael Jordan and asking about, asking him to teach him about business. And when he did meet with him and sit down, and Michael Jordan told Emmett Smith how to do whatever it was he was trying to do. And he made the comment, why are we not having conversations like this more often? And the response was, because you in order to get me to sit down and talk to you, you had to first ask. And that's what we have to do. When you are in the midst of getting this thing started, you're sitting down, you're writing a business plan, you're doing the self-evaluation, you're thinking of all the people that you need in the boat. Make sure one of those people, one of those persons in your boat is a mentor. They can tell you from start to end how to go about doing this thing. And that kind of helps you and keeps you from hitting so many bumps in the road. And it gives you that encouragement that even though you feel like it might not be working, maybe it is. And I think you froze. Either you froze or you got the same expression on your face, but I think you froze. But anyway, but those are some of the things that, like I said, when we started this series, I wanted to make sure that people understood about starting a small business. There are a lot of people online, like I said, that I listen to. One in particular, I do appreciate because I knew this person when they were starting and they were struggling with this. And now when you see them and how well they're doing, it is absolutely amazing. Amazing. So just watching that transformation and then saying, hey, I'm going to do what she did. So when you can find somebody that, is honest with you, can tell you how to do different things and walk you through the process, you found a good mentor. Somebody that can sit you down and give you the straight about stuff, because too many people will tell you what you want to hear. And that will get you in a whole lot of trouble quick. And that will sink that ship that you're trying to get afloat real fast. So make sure that you are, talking to folks now, I do say this to everybody when they come to me. Everybody don't need to know your vision. Everybody does not need to know your plan. There are people that are just like the devil. They came to kill, steal, and destroy. Be very careful who you share your vision with. Be very careful who you share your mission with. Because some people's mission in life is to discourage you and to give you bad information and to lead you astray. Have some discernment. Pray about it before you talk to people. Know who your people are and know who those folks are that you can go to and say, hey, I'm stuck on this. I'm having trouble with this. I need some help. Know who those people are. And majority of the time, when the need arises, God always sends the right person to help you with that need and to get you through that hump and to get you where you need to go. You are unfrozen now. You froze for a long time. I was like, either he got the same expression or he froze. You froze for
I know.
I was just still talking about mentorship, but let's see, we got about a couple more minutes. Is there anything else that you want to add as we wrap up our small business series?
It's been a great series. Thank you for hosting.
Mm-hmm.
It's really been a great series. I would say right off the back, just it's your vision. Run with your vision. Great point. Everybody don't need to know all of your secrets. You can't share your vision with everyone. Um, Sometimes it's your walk, and along any walk, keep people that you thought was gonna be there gonna fall to the wayside. That's just what it is. You have to own it. Entrepreneurship, small business ownership, it is a way of life. It is not a hobby. It is a way of life. It's with you. Um, get build a good team. We talked about a lot. We talked about writing your vision. We talk about having the right team in place around you, which I think is absolutely crucial. The business fundamentals. It's great to start out the right way. You really, really need to start out the right way. Vet the people that's advising you. This thing is real. This thing is hard. Know the numbers for yourself. know people background that's advising you, know what industry they're in. They may be making all the money that it seemed like, but understand the industry that they're in and understand the industry that you're in. There's a difference sometimes when it comes down to that. Just there are always financial options that's out there. Being bankable, being lender ready, being investor ready goes a long way. Having your business organized with defined goals. Start with the end in the mind from the beginning. Know where you want your business to go. Understand it. And that will take you a very, very long way if you know where you want your business to go at the end of the day. Define success for yourself. Business, it's nights that you won't sleep. It's days that you're so excited you can't eat. It's days that your mind is so gone that you can't eat. Just understand as you just understand what success really looks like for you. Don't get caught up in the success of others, but really understand what it is for you. Define it for yourself. Um, you know, doing good business. You're not perfect. There's gonna always be a customer service opportunity out there. Everybody's not gonna agree with you. Everybody's not gonna want your service. You're gonna have a dissatisfied customer. That comes with the realities of being in business. Deal with it. Don't let it destroy you. It's just a lot that have a good plan in place. And what I see also often is that people just fail the plan. If you fail the plan, then you plan to fail. Exactly. I mean, it's just the truth. You need a good plan in place. You need next level individuals at key points throughout your business. And good business mentorship.
Yep, that's it. That is it in a nutshell. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And tell Anna Grace I said thank you.
Yes, Lord. Anna Grace is real.
She said
real in my soul. No, that's Daddy's little girl. That's my baby, though.
She said she
sure will. I'm gonna drop off and take care of Anna Grace.
All right, then. I appreciate so much.
All right. God bless.
You too. All right, y'all. That was our last show in the series about small business for the month of August. I appreciate you all tuning in all month to get those tips. Make sure that you go to my page on Facebook if you missed anything. You can always watch the recordings and pick up on any little tips that you may need for your business. And in that, I'm going to say goodbye until next Tuesday. Come back again next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Have a brand new show. Have some wonderful women lined up for September. Y'all are going to be encouraged. You're going to be empowered and you're going to be educated so we can all live our best lives. So make sure you come back next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you like and share and subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications on YouTube so you'll know when new videos post. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in this past month to catch the Small Business Series. Hope that you'll come back and visit me in September. Love you. Thank you. Have a good night.